afternoon, and welcome to Mr. Canelo Live in the afternoon. This is Mr. Canelo. I'm so glad you guys are here. We are going to go over some timelines of ancient history using a map. All right. And so we're going to do this for the first 30 minutes. For the second 30 minutes, I'm going to be available to reach through live chat, or through chat. I won't be doing a live session after this. We're just going to do this, and then I'll be available through team chat. You can hit me up there. But I did want to walk through this, and it may take us a little bit. We'll see how it goes. We're going to walk through what the ancient world looked like and what it looks like so far. I really wanted to go over with you guys what we've done, because I think it's really important to remember that history doesn't just happen in a vacuum, that history's happening all the time. And especially in the ancient world, it's important to remember that our civilizations are growing. And so I'm going to zoom out a little bit just so we can begin, because we're really only going to see the beginning of civilization here in Harappa, which we studied when we covered ancient India, and then also with Mesopotamia, which we studied when we first started our school year out. And we're actually going to begin 6,000 years ago. So, before we get going, I need to go get some water before we get started. But if you'll sit tight, we'll get moving here in a few minutes. My plan is to get us moving by 6:07. All right, if you guys sit tight, I'll be right back. All right, and I am back. I am sorry about the wait, guys. Without further ado, let's journey through the timeline of ancient history that we have seen so far. So we began this school year at 6,000 BC, and that's where we have this set up right now, is 6,000 BC. And I kind of wanted to show you what was going on then. I know some of you have seen this before. I know some of you haven't. So we talked about the Sumerian culture. Really, these were our small city-state people living in small villages around Mesopotamia, mostly just began to leave that hunter-gatherer lifestyle, and they're starting to settle down and really start harvesting plants, specifically grains. If we remember back to early Mesopotamia, remember the diet of that people was beer and bread. So they were very much focused on their grains and consuming their grains, and here they are 6,000 years ago. At the same time, we can see the city of Harappa is starting to form here in the Indus River Valley, and that will eventually grow into a very large city. We don't have anything going on in China at this time along the Yellow or Yangtze River, and then we have a few things happening here very little happening in Africa. There's a little bit going on, not much. We'll zoom out a little bit, and that's the extent of what is happening in human development in 6,000 BC. So let's scoot forward a little bit. We knew that for a long time that very little happens. So we're actually going to go to 5,500 BC. And if you remember, when we talk about BC, that means, or this is before, BCE means before Common Era, or we use BC, which means before Christ, before the birth of Jesus Christ, which set the Latin calendar. And so we're going to use 5,500 BC. Remember, in BC we go down, and AD will go up. All right. So in 5500 BC, we're starting to get a little bit more expansion with our Sumerian and Hittite cultures. Harappa, again, is one of the few city-states we're not really seeing much develop anywhere else. Out here, you'll see a little bit of rock art. So we have some peoples starting to make art in Africa. Very little going on, again, at this time period. People are starting to develop, though. They're starting to develop farming techniques, and it's really going to take fire. By 5000 BC, we're going to see some huge expansion across the world. So in 5000 BC, the Sumerian culture falls, and the Ubbid culture takes over, and that's where we started our study, was with the Ubbids. Now the Ubbids were very much completely gone away from the hunter-gatherer lifestyle. They were 100% agrarian farmers. The city of Uruk was founded in 5000 by 5000 BC, and that culture really spread all along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. If we zoom in, you see Eridu there and Uruk there, big cities that started to develop in the region, and you can see how much they really were able to take over. Again, of course, we had the Harappa civilization in India that's really taking form, but at this time, we're going to start seeing a little bit of action here in China. People are going to start migrating into this area, and civilization will pop up there within the next 500 years. All right, and again, really not much going on of note anywhere else, but Mesopotamia is really, really growing. All right, so we're going to fast forward a little bit from there. We're going to start in 4900 BC. We're actually going to go 100 years. Again, not much really going on. Nothing else besides the Ubbid culture, but the Ubbid culture in that has grown, and the city of Uruk has become much, much larger. All right, by 4700 BC, we're going to see the city of Uruk, again, is getting larger. Eridu is getting larger. The Ubbid culture is really, again, spread out more in the region. And so we're really seeing the growth of civilization starting to come forward. So let's go to 4500 BC. Oops, maybe a little much right there. All right, 4500 BC. Harappa's actually gotten a little bit larger at this point. Harappa is finally starting to grow. What we'll see, of course, is in Egypt, civilization is starting to come out. Our civilization at the Kedu Mountain, which is in North Korea, starts to develop at this time point. All right, let's see the Egyptians come into the picture here. In 4200 BC, we're going to see a little bit of Egyptian action. All right, 4200 BC, the Sumerians have taken over the Ubbid culture, our first major civilization. If you remember, our Sumerians were the ones who developed a little bit of writing. They also developed schools, so you want to thank them for education. This is the group to do. The Sumerians. The city of Susa is established. We see a lot more going on in the Nile region. They don't have that updated to the map, but a lot more is going on at this point. All right, let's check out 4000 BC. In 4000 BC, a couple of major cities have started to develop. Arbelia in modern-day Turkey, or modern-day Iran, Trasusis in modern-day Turkey. Nothing yet in Greece or in Rome, but you do see the minor civilizations here at Lesek and Altamira. And then, of course, what's exciting is now that we're in 4000 BC, the northern, or we're about to see our northern and southern kingdoms, our upper and lower kingdoms of ancient Egypt here at Herculopolis and Buto. All right. At the same time, let's go look to see what's going on in other places in the world. All right. Still not much going on in the Yangtze River Valley, but that will soon change. All right. So we were at 4000 BC. Let's go to 3800 BC, and let's see what the Egyptians are up to now. All right, so the city-state of Baraptu is gone, and Herculopolis has come actually a little bit farther north. It's starting to really grow. Arbelia is a new city, and we're starting to see some more growth throughout civilization in the world. Let's take it up to 3600. Remember, none of this is happening in a vacuum. These city-states are growing just along the lines of everyone else. The megalithic culture is starting to develop. Stonehenge is going to be built around this time frame, or actually it's built before this, but that same culture that built Stonehenge is starting to spread out through the Sweden and Norway, and working its way through the Netherlands. All right. Anything in there? Nope, we're good there. All right. So let's check out 3400 BC. Again, Sumerian culture is dominating civilization at this point. But they're going to start getting out. And now we've just seen one of the major city-states of Egypt being established, and that's the state of Thebes. Huge growth here. You can see now we're going to see some serious growth throughout the Nile River Valley. We have some areas that are located now on the sea. Biblios is started. All right, and now we have Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. Upper Egypt is going to invade the Lower Egypt. Remember, Lower Egypt means you're lower on the Nile. Upper Egypt, you're higher up on the Nile. All right, and we see several city-states that have been established at this time throughout the region. 3000 BC. All right. The old kingdom of Egypt has been built. The city of Memphis has been started. And now Egypt is really going to take off and become a dominant power in the region. The Sumerians have seen their dawn, and now they're starting to fall. Jerusalem is established in 3000 BC, the kingdom of the Jews, and it will really grow from there. The city of Uruk is there, which also means the city-state of Ur should be on the map as well. There's Kish. So Abraham has made his journey, and he's established, the Jews have made their journey, and we're going to see Jerusalem established very soon. Heliopolis, remember that's where the first pharaoh of Egypt escaped from a angry angry pack of dogs by riding on a hippo across the river. Excuse me, riding a crocodile across the river, and then he was later killed by a hippo when he was hunting. Cool guy. All right, and we're going to skip about to 2700 BC. Again, Egypt is now becoming its own. It's starting to spread out. We see other cultures in Mesopotamia starting to emerge. Islam. We see more city-states growing throughout the Indus River Valley regions. Yangtze is still quiet, according to this map. But the city-state of Troy is established, Thera is established, and Theostos is established. So we're going to see some major changes here now in the world. For 2600, again, Sumerians are still dominating the region, but that's not for very long. They're going to start getting weeded out by other civilizations as they begin to grow. Again, now we have many city-states throughout this region. The Iron Age is coming very quickly. All right, and as you can see now, the Sumerian culture has disappeared, and in its place are lots of little city-states. There's still the Esla at Susa. Susa will become important. That's where Alexander the Great actually held his court for a little bit. Babylon is established, which is very important. It also means that our good friends in Assur, the Assyrians, are about to start their conquest of the Near East. And there they are. The Akkadian Empire has now taken over all of the regions here, all of the region of Mesopotamia. At the same time, the Minoan civilization, if you remember back to ancient Greece, the Minoans are now in the play here at Theostos, at Troy, in this region. The Minoans are going to be there until they are taken out by a massive earthquake that creates a tsunami wave that will end up crushing them. So our good friends, the Akkadians. are going to be replaced by the Assyrians, but not in 2100 BC. All right, we see that we've had our first split between the Egyptians, the Theban kingdom, and the Heraclian kingdom. This was called the Middle Kingdom. You're not accepting my Peloponnesian War and another assignment. I am still, they're still open, so I am still accepting them. Either it's not going through or you're not seeing them. I am seeing them. Grades are always updated on Friday. So you have to wait till Friday to see what your new grade is. You can email me another time and we can work that out. But I always put the grades in on Friday. This is called Ancient Encyclopedia. This is the Ancient Encyclopedia. It's a great, great resource. I'm a big fan of it. Alright. Let's go forward a little bit farther. 2000 BC. Alright. Another dynasty of Ur, or the dynasty of Ur has started. The Middle Kingdom of Egypt has started. The Minoans are still around. But things are starting to develop. More technologies are being made. We've completely left the Bronze Age, and now we are fully in the Iron Age. Assyria. What's about to happen? You guys remember the Assyrians are going to take over all of... They're going to start their own empire. They're our first empire in the ancient world, and they're going to do it very quickly and very, very violently. All right. Oops, we skipped a lot. Let's go back to 1950 BC. Let's go 1800 BC. Yeah, here we go. The Egyptians are going to start invading into Jerusalem. They're going to invade up and work their way into Mesopotamia. And now we're starting to see a lot of civilizations fighting for control. The Babylonians, the Quantians, the Yamids, the Kingdom of Samashiadad. All of these are going to be competing for regional control. Massive Minoan civilization is there. Messina civilization is there. There's the River Ganges has started to be used now for religious purposes in 1750 BC. 1600 BC. Alright, in 1600 BC, the Hittites are going to invade into the region of Babylon. Babylon is going to fall to them. Egypt is experiencing another period of violence and instability. Alright. The Kingdom of Kush is going to invade. Pretty cool, right? Now we're going to see a lot of people moving. The Hittites will entirely move into Babylon, the Babylonian area. Alright, and the Messenians are taking over all of ancient Greece. The Minoans are starting to lose their ability to control that region. In 1500 BC, Egypt is gained more control. The Assyrians are really, really tiny now. The Meteans, the Kissites, the Hittites, and the Elam. You see it's still there. We can see that the city of Harappa has fallen out of use. Alright, in 1450, the Mitanni has started to come in and take over. Messina is now gone. The Minoans are now gone. The Messenians are now there. Athens has sprung up. Sparta is very soon after that. We see the city of Tyre pop up. And here we have our first little group in Italy starting to spring up. Alright, this group will help inspire the Romans. Yes, and here's a large city here, Anyang in China. Although they've been there for a bit. Nineveh is there now. In 1390, Assyria started to gain more power again. Babylon belongs to the Hittite Babylonians. Migratory peoples have stopped moving so much. Hittite Empire is gaining power, so are the Assyrians. Egypt is starting to lose their control of the region. And by 1300, we're going to see that they've been backed out pretty good, while the Assyrians are starting to gain more power. The Sea Peoples, as the Egyptians called them, are starting to spring up. They're actually going to bring a lot of turmoil to the world. The Great Pyramids have already been built. They've been built thousands of years, about 1,000 years before this. And so Egypt is on the decline. And the Sea Peoples are on the attack. And we don't really know where they came from. More than likely, they were leftover Minoans. Or at least that's my thought on it. But there they are, the Sea Peoples. You can see that actually the islands where the islands are missing. Let's go 1280 BC. Oops, not 1000. ABC, the Assyrians still gaining a lot of power. 12.5. The Assyrians taking over more and more territory. Hittites are starting to shrink a little bit. Alright, the Hittites are going to start getting pushed out by a group called the Phrygians. And Elam is going to start influencing a lot more in the Hittite region of Babylonia. More Chinese cities are popping up. The Athenian culture has sprung up in Italy. Alright, the Hittites are completely gone. They've disappeared now. And the Assyrians are going to fill this vacuum. You see the Assyrians have taken over a huge swath of land now. And they're actually going to start pushing towards Egypt. At the same time, other tribes from Libya are starting to push into Egypt. The Middle Kingdom is on its way down. The Greek city-states have popped up at 1100 BC. So this is where we started our study of Greece. They've all popped up. The Thracians are there. 1180. Oops, I went backwards, didn't I? Here we go. 1080. Egypt has completely moved out. The Armenians are moving in. The Assyrians are about to move down. Egypt is again split into Upper and Lower Egypt. The Greek city-states are growing in strength. And soon a new power is going to pop up out of Elam. We're at 1080. Let's go 1050. Tiny kingdoms all throughout Judah and Israel have now split. You can see them here. The kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel. Right, and then Ammon, Moab, Edom, Assyria here, Phoenicia, and Greece. You have Thebes, Athens, Argenia, Trinas, Mount Olympus is there. Check on our friends here in Italy. The Lanovia culture has popped up. Alright. So 1050. Let's go to 1020. not much change from that last map. Let's go to 10,000 or 1,000 BC. All right, 1,000 BC. All right, if we take a look down here, the kingdom of David and Solomon has started, and so that is the kingdom of Israel. Let's go to 900. Actually, we won't skip that far. Let's go 950. Upper Egypt, Lower Egypt. We're starting to see the beginning of the new kingdom. The Assyrians here. Babylon is starting to become a major power again. The Greek city-states are located there. Let's back this into 900 BC. Assyria and Babylon are fighting, but Assyria is losing its ability to control the region. 850 BC. Assyria is pretty much split right here. Babylonians will eventually use that to gain control. Alright, 800 BC. Well, the Medes are showing up. Here's Assyria at the height of its power. So they were able to beat the Babylonians in a brief war, and now they control Babylon, and they've pushed all the way down, and they've destroyed the kingdom of Israel, and now only Judah is left. Alright. You can see that the Syrians full control of the region. The Greek have started colonizing. They've colonized a good portion of Italy, Sicily. Carthage has sprung up in 690 BC. Rome is founded in 753 BC, so it's been around for a little bit. So again, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. By the time the Assyrians are at their full strength, Rome is starting out. The Greeks have really colonized much of the world, much of the area around them. Sparta is there. Alright, 650 BC. And 600 BC. Ooh, let's back that up. Something big happened here. Let's back that up. Let's go to 630 BC. Let's back that up again. Let's go. Yeah, let's go 640 BC. We were just at 650. Here we are at 640. Watch the Medes. Watch what happens here. The Medes start a conquest here in 640 BC. Here we are in 630. Huge, huge conquest. So let's go back and take a look at 635. The Medes are beginning their conquest in 632. They've really spread out. In 631, they're not on the move yet. By 630, they've created the Median Empire. Persia is started. The Assyrians are in control of the region. The Greeks are really, really starting to colonize a lot more. Carthage is in the picture. The world is changing quickly, very, very quickly. By 600 BC, we're going to see that the Assyrians are gone. They're actually beat in the 620, or in the 619. The Assyrians are gone. 615, they're starting to get beat. It's in 612 that they disappear. There they go. The Babylonians are moving. Egypt has invaded. Jerusalem is free from control. In 606, we're going to see the Syrians fall. And now the Neo-Babylonians are in control. Alright. 600 BC, under King Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians have taken over Jerusalem and pushed their way all the way down here to start interfering in the business of the Egyptians. Achaemenid Empire has taken over full control, a huge swath of land. Let's look at 500 BC. The Achaemenid Persian Empire is in full power in 500 BC. So within 100 years, the Achaemenid Empire really takes over, and here they are, just absolutely controlling much of the territory. That's a massive territory. But look who's here in the tiny state of Macedonia. And Rome. There's Rome starting it out. You can now see that it controls the territory around it. But Macedonia is here. And with them is Alexander the Great. So the Delian League is formed to stop the to keep the Persians from invading. The Delian League is formed. And now you see the Peloponnesian League, so now we're in the middle of the Peloponnesian Wars. Alright. They're still fighting it out in 410 BC. By 400 BC, our Delian League is gone. Spartans technically control everything, although they're not really too involved in wanting to control too much. But we've jumped a bunch. Rome is still trying to gain control of its area. Let's see what Alexander starts doing here in 390. Spartans still control. Alexander sets out in 320. 350 under Philip I, Macedonia really starts taking over a large swath of land. Here they are controlling and taking care of the Spartan hegemony. So Sparta returns to its area. The Athenian League is formed. In 340 BC, Macedonia is still influencing much of Greek life. In 330 BC, or we'll go to 333 BC, you see that Alexander has started out on his conquest. It actually starts around 336 BC. 336 BC, he crossed over and took over Byzantium. He controls the Corinthian League at this point. And then by 335, he has crossed the Hellespont. By 334, he has started to take over he started to take over Turkey. In 333, he had a major victory, right? And he's moved down. He now has control of Aleppo, which is in Syria, and he's going to take over Tyre. He actually skips Tyre for a little bit. The Persians are starting to lose their territory. 332. Alexander has a massive empire that now includes Egypt, and he sets his sights again in 331 on the Persians. Here he is again attacking the Persian Empire. He's going to kill he's going to invade very successfully, and by 330 BC, Alexander controls all of the Persian Empire. Rome is taking off in 330 BC. In 323 BC, though, Alexander is going to die. And by 321, you're going to start to see the split up of his empire. And there it is in 320, the complete split of the Macedonian Empire into the Seleucid Persian Empire, the Antigonus Empire, the Macedonian Empire, and the Ptolemaic Empire. By 300 BC, Rome is on the move, and that is where we're going to end tonight. So we've seen civilizations grow and fall over what amounts to 5,700 years, and now we are to our place in the story, which is the Roman Empire has come onto the stage, and it is ready. It is primed to make the biggest impact in the ancient world. Alright guys, that is it for me tonight. If you need to get with me, you can hit me on team chat. I will be available for the next 20 minutes or so. So feel free to reach out. I will be there for you. Alright guys, have a wonderful evening. I will see you next week. Alright, bye.